year. It is O Canada. The Canadians bring it home for the win.
Good morning and welcome to the official opening press conference for Canada SailGP returning to Halifax. I'm your host, BJ Wilson from Q104 Radio here in Halifax. Very honored to be here hosting your press conference again for the second time and only time here in Halifax again. It's fantastic to welcome you here to one of SailGP's most passionate host city destinations. This weekend, Rolex SailGP Championship returning to Halifax for the second time, and the excitement continues to grow. I can tell you the city is absolutely abuzz. More than 12,000 official ticketed spectators are expected to Halifax and to witness SailGP for one of the most demanding venues on the 2026 season calendar. Halifax delivered unforgettable moments when SailGP arrived in 2024, and this weekend athletes will once again face a race course that demands precision, adaptability, and confidence as the Atlantic swell, shifting coastal breezes, and a packed waterfront atmosphere all collide at once. This morning, we're going to hear from some of the athletes set to compete, including the North Star SailGP team, carrying the hopes of Canadian fans, plus others looking to make their mark on this season's championship. There will be two moderated panels, followed by time for one-on-one interviews, and so our media team is available to assist with any requests. Before we get started, an enormous thank you to our global partners, our key event partners, Sail Nova Scotia and Build Nova Scotia, and official funding partners, the Province of Nova Scotia and the Halifax Regional Municipality. With that, I want you to please join me in welcoming to the stage two athletes representing Canada's North Star SailGP team, the driver and two-time Olympic champion Giles Scott, and flight controller and Halifax native Billy Gooderham. Come on up, fellas. Okay, I'm going to start with you, Giles. Welcome back to Halifax, first of all. You are the only driver to have won in this venue. Of course, you were driving in 2024 with Emirates GBR. So what do you remember most from that victory, and what is it like now to return as a member of North Star?
Well, I've obviously got very, very fond memories of racing here in Halifax. Amazing city, amazing venue to race in F50. And yeah, 2 years ago, it was certainly a very full-on weekend. The weather really hit us hard. There was a few issues there on Sunday for the fleet, but what an amazing spectacle it was. And yeah, the Grand Prix went pretty well for me personally.
It's a great Canadian accent, too.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh, you were born in England, but you hold a Canadian passport, and you grew up racing on the Ottawa River. Now you're here driving as a Canadian and the Canadian boat. So does steering North Star, does it feel like a homecoming of sorts, or is that a bit of a stretch?
No, it definitely does. I mean, you know, as you can tell, I'm certainly a Brit, but I lived in Canada for six or 7 years. It's somewhere that I hold very, very dear to my heart, and yeah, like here in Halifax, I think the fans went absolutely nuts for everything SailGP 2 years ago. And I think being back here for all of us at North Star is such an amazing opportunity. And
from a Canadian perspective, this is really the flagship event of the season. More than 12,000 spectators expected. What does it mean to see that level of support just for SailGP in general, but also the North Star team?
It is incredible, and you know, as I've said twice, I think the thing that SailGP loves about Halifax is just how much the people buy into the event. It is incredible. There's an amazing buzz around town, and I've got no doubt that this weekend is going to be an amazing success.
Tell us about this venue in particular, because you've raced all over the world. What stands out about Halifax, and what are some of the biggest challenges that the drivers and the teams are going to face here?
Well, it can offer up. It really depends on where the wind comes from. It can either be incredibly clean if it comes straight down the river here, but equally, I think. Looking at the forecast yesterday, there's potentially a bit of an offshore element. So I think it's going to be difficult. There's going to be a lot of patchy holes out there. I think you're going to see boats crashing, trying to stay on the foils, potentially coming off the foils. Yeah, it's going to offer a lot.
Billy, the team arrives following encouraging results in New York. It was your first event final this season, the first in 14 months. How important was that podium, and did it validate some of the work that's been happening behind the scenes?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's no secret that we didn't start off the season the way we wanted to. But obviously, all that, like you said, all that work behind the scenes is going into it. And then we've had a bit of a recent uptick of form. Bermuda was a mid-fleet event for us, but still a better event. And then to sort of back that up with more progress in New York, it shows the amount of work that's going on behind the scenes. And then obviously, with this being the home event, this is sort of one that's circled on the calendar that's sort of important for a result for us. So it's good to make sure we're going in the right direction.
And it's momentum, which is important. Giles, that naturally helps, of course, but how do you look at North Star's season as a whole? What do you need to do to kind of reset? And when does it become too late for the 2026 season?
Well, I wouldn't ever say it's too late, but we've had a shaky start. We're not hiding behind that. But as Billy's just said, we've been beavering away pretty intently behind the scenes, trying to make gains. And yeah, it hasn't been the easiest process because we've certainly been feeling gains coming, but it hasn't necessarily been showing on the scoreboard. And yeah, the last two events have gone much better. And really, what we want to do this weekend is be able to step forward from where we were at in New York.
Right. And Billy, this isn't just a home country event for you. This is a hometown event for you, coming from just up the road to sail here on the harbor. You've got a lot of family and friends. Obviously, they'll be rooting for you this weekend. Is there something this weekend that could make this maybe one of your best SailGP events yet?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously one thing that could be happening on Sunday afternoon that would make that our best event yet. But obviously, you're not going to get ahead of yourself with respect to this stuff. For us, even though it is a home event and there is so much family and friends, it's just sort of business as usual. I live 20 minutes up the road, but I'm still staying in the team hotel. You just try and make sure that you're, putting one foot in front of the other, doing the next right thing, and just trying to treat it like every other day at work.
So you're saying a lot of new phone who dis to your friends this weekend?
Yeah, pretty much. As far as I'm concerned, they're not here. Or right. I'm not here.
Giles and Billy, thank you very much for your time this morning, and best of luck racing this weekend.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you, BJ.
Team North Star. All right, next up, 4 athletes at the center of the biggest storylines heading into the weekend. A returning team, 3 crews rebuilding from New York, a championship leader, and a driver coming back to a city that used to cheer for him. Please join me in welcoming to the stage, representing the championship-leading Bonds Flying Ruse, Australian strategist Tash Bryant. The U.S. SailGP team driver, fresh off of that home event in New York, Taylor Canfield. Match racing world champion and Red Bull Italy SailGP team driver, and a name very familiar to this city, Phil Robertson. And finally, returning to the start line for the first time since Auckland, Black Foils driver Peter Burling. All right, Phil, I'm going to start with you because the last time SailGP raced in Halifax, you were the one that locals were cheering for as the driver of the Canadian team. 2 years later now, we're all back, but you're wearing Italian colors. How does it feel to be walking back into this city representing a new nation with the man who beat you here the last time, Giles Scott, now in your old seat?
Yeah, it's very nice to be back in Halifax, as the boys said before. It's such a cool city and an amazing fan base here for SailGP, and I argue that we've probably got as many fans in Halifax as the Canadian team does. So I'm not too afraid about a hometown advantage.
So you're expecting a warm welcome here or a shaky welcome? What do you think?
We've already had a very warm welcome, so we're happy.
So let's talk about New York for a second here, because you were at the center of the moment that defined the event. For anyone who missed it, seconds before the race 3 start, 3 boats came together. Red Bull Italy, the U.S. SailGP team, and Mubadala Brazil, spelling the end of the event for those 3 teams. Taylor, take us back to that start sequence. What happened, and at what point did you realize that contact couldn't be avoided?
Yeah, I'm just excited to be here in Halifax. The sun just came out. Great racing ahead of us. So it's like Phil said, it's been a warm welcome already. We've only been here a day, and people coming up, and the buzz is real. And it's great to see the city so pumped for the event, and the grandstand coming up. I think they're nearly sold out, so it's going to be a good show.
The handcuffs look good on you. So, okay, let's go to Phil for a second here. From your cockpit, it would have looked very different. You were approaching the start line, but we're early, and you rotated up to stay behind it. So walk us through what you saw, and does an incident like that change how you might treat the boats around you on a crowded start line, which is what it's expected to be this weekend?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting weekend weather-wise. The breezes. Now, look, look. I think I speak for all teams here, and no one wants to crash these boats. It's just really annoying, and not only does it put you out from that weekend, it can potentially put you out for events to come. And I am shocked sitting here today knowing that we're probably going to have a boat to race with this weekend, and that's just credit to SailGP Technologies, and all the guys that put in many hours. And SailGP said to us afterwards they're going to move mountains to make sure our boat's ready, and they certainly have. So we're just super appreciative of all the work that's been done to get our boat back up here in Halifax and racing this weekend. And yeah, hopefully it's a good ship, not a warship.
Well, it's always amazing, too, the partnerships that SailGP manages to forge with the local companies as well. So it's great to see that so many boats will be on the water this weekend. So then, Taylor, before that crash, an adjacent question. You were leading in points. The crash almost certainly cost you a home event final, while your Canadian neighbors managed to sneak through. How much does that sting heading into the Canadian backyard this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, it's always been about progress for us. We're just keep pushing along and making that next step. And it's not always it doesn't always show up, as Giles mentioned. We saw that a lot in last season, and but this season it's been a little bit different, and we've been progressing nicely and making some good gains, and that remains the goal. So we're going to go out there and make the most of the practice session today, and we're excited for be back here in Halifax, and to see what's to come for the rest of the season.
I'm not done with New York just yet. Phil, I want to come back to you for a second here. I want to know about the debriefs, how those have been since that event. And as we know, Brazil was deemed not at fault, but do you believe that they could have avoided that collision at the start?
I've been put on a tight leash, BJ.
Well, and we know how you treat those, Phil.
You do know me too well. Now, look, it's a bit of a strange situation, and I think we've made our point pretty clear many times, and our thoughts on it are very clear, and I think it's shared probably most of the sailors. And it seems like a bit of a strange outcome, the way that it's sort of been ruled and deemed where the points have been given. So we probably don't really agree with it, but it is what it is in its sport, and we're here to race this weekend, and we've definitely left that behind us now, and what's done is done, and it's time to go racing again in Halifax.
Right on. Okay. Tash, fist bump? I got to say, first of all, congratulations. The team everyone else has been chasing, the Bonds Flying Roos, have won the last 3 events, arriving in Halifax, 11 points clear at the top right now. And you're the one painting the picture for the rest of your team on the race course as the strategist. So what's actually clicking in this current run, and what wasn't maybe last year or even a few months ago that's different now?
Last year was a bit of a tough season for us, and it kind of felt a few times that nothing was going our way, and no matter what we tried or how hard we worked, you just sometimes you don't get too lucky, and luck really swung our way in New York. It's safe to say the first race didn't go to plan. The weekend was a roller coaster for us. We hit a few things. We had a massive nosedive on the Saturday, and it was looking like it was going to be another classic New York event for us. But we managed to pull it around, and everything had to go our way in that last race for us to make the final, and luck was definitely on our side. And I think we've all been working really hard in the background. Everyone wants to be the very best that they can be on board our boat, no matter if we come first or last. The attitude is the exact same. The debriefs are the same, looking at what we can do to move forward, how we can go better, comparing ourselves against our competitors to see where we can make our gains. And I think that attitude has just come through really strong the last few events, and hopefully it'll take us even further forward throughout the season.
So a win this weekend would make it 4 straight. And the only team that's ever won 5 in a row, it's you guys. Does a crew like yours let itself think about chasing its own record, or is that exactly the kind of thing that could, in fact, end your streak?
To be honest, Tom has always been really clear, and we want to be the greatest team that's ever raced in this league, and it would be really cool to set some pretty tough records for people to follow, and the league's growing. It's getting a lot harder. It's really hard to keep pushing, and I think we just want to keep winning, and that's our spirit, I guess. Seeing
some of the promo shots, too. Slinger looks like he's been hitting the gym. Do you think the Flying Roos would be in the same place right now if your biggest rivals, the Black Foils, had been on the water for the last few events?
Look, it's been really weird racing without the Kiwis. They've been there since the start of when I raced SailGP, and I think missing them on the race course has been tough, but we're really looking forward to getting out there and bringing it on this weekend.
Now, what most fans don't see, of course, is the race fought in the workshops, on the freight planes, getting the fleet back out here. And SailGP Technologies builds each one of these F50s at around 57,000 hours it takes. New York damaged 3 of them in just seconds, all while a near-complete rebuild was taking place behind the scenes for the New Zealand boat. The black foils return this weekend following your own catastrophic crash in Auckland in February. So, Peter, you've sat out Sydney, Rio, Bermuda, and New York, watching your rivals bank points the whole time. After all that, what does it feel like to be back on the start line again in a nearly brand-new boat?
Yeah, it's super exciting to be back, sailing around, and we have some pretty fond memories here in Halifax and a new F50, and it's been great to see, I suppose, our original boat get well purposed around the rest of the fleet, making sure everyone gets back on the start line. But for us as a group to be back on the water, have a commissioning day yesterday, be able to build that confidence as a group, and looking forward to the weekend is something that I think we're just incredibly excited to get back racing.
It was exciting to see the F50 out there yesterday. Was there a point when you genuinely thought that you might not even make it back in this season?
No.
No.
To be honest. And I think part of that is you just have to be optimistic at times. But we definitely knew it was going to be a significant challenge to get back on the water, but the amount of work we've done with the tech team and the amount they've gone through to get us to this point, get us back on the water, we're incredibly grateful. And as a team, we're under no illusions. It's going to be incredibly hard to jump back into this league. With 4 months not sailing, we've still got Louis recovering, so we've got Stu on board, who's been doing an amazing job yesterday, and we're very much in the rebuild phase. But excited to go out there this weekend, and really believe if we have a good weekend, we can win it.
Good for you. So it's a little bit about racing, but also a lot about just kind of getting back on the horse again this weekend.
Yeah, it's a little hard when you have to wait 4 months to get back on the horse, so to say. But that's what you've got to do, and you've got to make the most of it. And it's been really pleasing to see the way each individual's gone about making sure they're prepared, and the way the teams come together to make sure we're prepared as a group. So
it really, just a quick final question for you here, Pete, because very exciting breaking news just now that New Zealand enters this weekend under proud new ownership, acquired by MSP Capital. So what can you tell us about your new owners, and what does this milestone mean for New Zealand and, of course, SailGP as a league?
Yeah, it's super exciting to have such an amazing partner. MSP's got an amazing track record, and we've really enjoyed the process so far at this stage. So we're super excited to see where we can go, and I think it's just incredibly exciting times for the league. All 13 teams now in private ownership, and exciting to see how quickly things are growing and improving, and massive thanks to everyone that was involved in making it happen.
Yeah, that's a huge milestone for the whole league. Thanks, Peter. New Zealand, of course, competes in an important milestone for SailGP, the final team on the start line, as you mentioned, to secure private ownership. Turning to other repairs, Phil, your boat took the worst of it, with structural damage requiring the most complex repairs of those involved in last month's crash. As we sit here Friday morning, are you confident that you're definitely going to be out there? The boat is ready to go, and things are going to be good for the weekend.
Yeah, she's together. She's sort of working, so she's probably just going in the water now, and we're going to head out just quite shortly to sort of start the commissioning phase. So basically just testing all the systems and the structure of the platform after all the repairs, and then we'll see what happens after that. So still unsure, but I'm confident the SailGP Technologies are the right guys behind it.
Taylor, let me put that question to you as well. How are you feeling about the U.S. SailGP team F50?
Yeah, just another day in SailGP. It's business as normal. So we're going to go out there and push the boat hard and get a good training day in.
Good for you. All right. Well, thanks to all of you very much. Our athletes are now going to head to the media interview area in the back of the room, and you can work with the media team to arrange any one-on-ones. Thank you very much to our athletes, Canada, and the rest of the athletes up here today, and our partners in the room as well. Tomorrow's action gets underway at 4 p.m. There are maybe still a few tickets available at sailgp.com/Halifax, and that concludes the official opening press conference for Canada SailGP Halifax. Thanks, everybody, and hot racing this weekend.